Dave Life with DOTV News. Recently, former President Donald Trump was convicted on 34 counts of falsification of business records, which is a felony in the first degree in the state of New York. MSNBC recently had the jury verdict live during this historic event. Let's take a look.
Count 33 and 34 guilty. That is Donald J. Trump, defendant in New York versus Donald Trump, found guilty on all 34 felony counts. That is the verdict here in this case.
So as you can see, Trump was found guilty on all 34 felony accounts. This is a historic event. And to help me kind of understand this and get some feedback from the public, I'd like to invite up comedian Steve Turner to the stage. Steve, come on to the stage and help me discuss this. What's up, Steve?
Hey, brother, how are you? Happy to be here.
I'm good, man. I'm good. Good seeing you. Hey, Steve, first of all, thanks for joining. I know that you're a part of the Freestyle Friday podcast. So thank you for joining. You also have your own show, your own special, Offend Everybody.
That you really can't say anything anymore. So with me doing comedy, I try to be polite as I can while at the same time getting my message out.
I'm shutting the whole block down. Coming to the stage, my dog, Steve Turner.
Can't make this shit, man. In 2023, you can't say shit, man. You gotta know what these words mean. I don't call them. I call them fire starters. That's not politically correct the way you talking about these motherfuckers. Anytime I get pissed off, I go over my fat and Bernadette's house. Are you an alien or a homo sapien? I ain't never heard you before. I'm from Cleveland.
I'd love to have you and get your opinion, Steve. I know that you're a Trump supporter, and I'd like to know just your opinion of everything. But I have to say, try not to offend everybody this time.
Oh yeah, like I said, some of my best friends are people with with big brains. So I love everybody.
Steve, how do you feel about Donald Trump being convicted on 34 counts of falsification of business records? It was related to the Stormy Daniels, hush money supposedly that was paid to her through Trump's organization back in 2017. Give us your reaction to listening to that verdict.
Well, listening to the verdict, like I said, it's all propaganda and it's a sham. Because let me ask you a question, truthfully. Donald Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels in 2006. It's 2024 now. Now, simple question. It's going to sound stupid, but just be honest. If I spent the night at your house and peed in your bed or the bed that you let me sleep in 2006, when would you change the bed sheets?
In 2006.
What, like a month later or?
No, the same day.
So now think about that. If Donald Trump had sex with Stormy Daniels in 2006, why are they just charging him now in 2024 and finding him guilty? Come on, it's a big sham. I love it. But the scary part about this is people are so happy that Donald Trump is being persecuted like this. But remember this, don't ever forget this. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So they're doing this to Donald Trump, a president of the United States of America. What are they going to do to Jim Bob, who's nothing but a McDonald's worker, or somebody else with no financial background to get a good lawyer team? So it's a big sham, and it's a sham to take away your rights. So people need to really be smart and think about what they're cheering for, because it's no fun when the rabbit got the gun.
So you think it's a politically motivated verdict?
Of course, this is a politically motivated verdict. Because if you just look, it's political. I see so many people, but they're happy that Donald Trump, oh yay for Trump, he's guilty. They don't know how politics work. In addition to politics, they don't know how law works. But let me ask you this. I asked all my broke friends, now that Donald Trump has been found guilty, is your rent cheaper? Did you get a raise at work? Did they give you a free Mercedes-Benz? What benefit has it helped your life that Donald Trump is found guilty? Other than cheering for your enemy's enemy. I mean, it just makes no sense. We have to think, because it is not illegal yet.
Thinking is definitely not illegal. So, Steve, just reacting to, him being found guilty. This is the first president or former president that's been found guilty of a felony. Do you think that will play into his possibility to be the GOP candidate coming up here, because the sentencing is going to happen on July 11th, and the candidacy for the GOP is going to be, I guess, at the GOP convention is going to be decided on July 15th. So, do you think this has any bearing on him being the possible GOP candidate, or no?
Well, I believe that this does not have a bearing on him, but I will say this: Donald Trump is going to be definitely the next president of the United States of America. That's a fact, because if you look at it, nothing has been, and this is how they kind of set him up. When Donald Trump was the president, they everything was going good, but the Democrats, they shut down the country. Now the country is not a store. You can close. If I own a store, I can shut that store down if I'm sick, or if my mom is having a bad day. But the country's not a store. You cannot shut down a country. And everybody was happy. A lot of people who are against Trump said, yeah, Trump shut down the country. Trump trying to open the country. He's trying to kill people. But the funny thing is, these people who wanted the country shut down so much, they don't know how to hunt for food. They don't know how to fish. They don't know how to plant things. But they want the country shut down. They can do nothing independently. They can go to work, but they have a poor person's mentality. Poor people want the country shut down because they don't have to go to work. But then again, they don't know how to fish, hunt for food, create food. It's just simple things. Build a house by themselves, manual labor. So if you can't do any of these things, why would you want the country to be shut down? Trump was trying to keep that country open. And I'm a common sense person. I'm all for common sense.
Okay, makes sense. So, Steve, let's take a look at Donald Trump's reaction, his immediate reaction to the verdict, right after the verdict was announced. Let's take a look.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end, and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one, with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case. Never.
Steve, give us your reaction to that.
Well, my reaction is, again, take out Republican and Democrat. I'm a common sense thinking person. It's so amazing that, first of all, I have to say, there's only 6 companies that own every TV station on TV. They're all Democrat based. Can't be disputed. I have a degree in it, and I studied it. There's only 6 companies. Now, what's so funny about this, everybody's against Trump. They have so many black people against Trump because that's what the media is telling them to do. But they love Biden. The same Joe Biden that said he don't want his kids at school with black people. We're animals. Joe Biden said, the same Joe Biden who said his mentor was the leader of the KKK. He spoke at his funeral, but we forgot about that. Donald Trump is the only president with 6 NAACP awards for most money donated to historical black universities. But then we wonder why we continue to be at the bottom of this totem pole and nobody treats us fair. We keep voting for the same party that has oppressed us, but with nice words. They tell us nice things, but we should go for the truth. In addition to the truth, we should. If I say, Dave, just for example, if I say, Dave, I'm going to come over your house and I'm going to rob you and I'm going to steal everything out your house at 11 o'clock. What would you do?
I wouldn't allow you in my house at 11 o'clock. I'll have some sort of security or something like that. Because I'm not going to rob me.
Okay. What if I say, what's up, Dave? Man, everything's good, brother. Oh, man, watch it. I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to bring you some barbecue. and everything, man. I always appreciate you, brother. Like, what would you say then if we're gonna have a barbecue?
Come on over, man.
See? So think about that. Democrats tell us nice words that we want to hear. Get us every single time. Mass incarceration, everything, every time. At least with Donald Trump, they say he's racist, but you know who you're dealing with when you're dealing with Donald Trump, and that's what I like, and I appreciate that. You know the person. He's not telling you nice words you want to hear. He's not telling you, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a mate." He's telling you what's on his mind. And in America, we have a thing called freedom of speech, which means you can say what you want to say as long as it does not cause direct harm to another person. So I cannot say, "Dave, I'm going to throw a bomb in your face. Everybody, let's kill Dave." I can't say that. That causes direct harm. But I can say, "Dave, your hat is not the best." I can say those are freedom of speech things. And we're losing our freedoms as we go further and further into the decline of Democrats. You'll see, if you just look, we had freedom. We had more freedom and now in the 80s than we do now. And they will go down and down and down because your freedoms are being stripped away. It is really crazy. This is a weird day. And what's so sad is that people let their emotions get the best of them. We should think, because thinking saves lives.
So, Steve, I have a question. How do you feel about the fact that Trump pretty much indicated that he thought this was politically motivated by the Biden administration? I've heard that this is a state case, and so the federal government really can't do anything in terms of messing with a Manhattan case. So if this is a state case, why would Trump try to implicate Biden in a state case?
This is a Biden case. It's the Biden administration. I mean, it's not like and that's what's the sad part. A lot of people will say the same thing you say because they don't understand how propaganda works. This is a Biden case. This really is. It's a state case because you know what? There's 50 states in America. But do you know who's over all the states? The president of the United States. Washington, D.C. is not a state. It's a district. The president of America is over all the states, the 48 continental states, and Hawaii and Alaska. This is about Biden because what they want everyone to believe, Donald Trump is racist. Donald Trump is misogynistic, all of the words they want to say, and Donald Trump is not like us. So because if it was not a Biden case, why didn't Biden stop it? Now remember this. This is what we should not forget. Donald Trump is not the mechanic at the garage. He's not an oil change expert at Jiffy Lube. Donald Trump is the president of the United States of America. And if the American people allow this type of foolery to go on, don't be mad when it happens to you because your rights are being stripped away with smiles. Yeah, we're trying to protect you people by taking away your rights. Think about that, man. You know what? When I was going to school in Cleveland, I don't know about New York, even though that's close, but our parents and the teachers would paddle kids. If you don't have your homework in school, I got paddled a lot. I got whoopings in front of the class by my parents. But I'll tell you this, those whoopings saved my life. I look at my friends who didn't get whoopings. That's out here. The mind is not sharp. And that's no disrespect to anyone, but I will say this. We have to use our brains. We must. It's important and it's imperative because animals, they use their brains. That's how they survive. Birds, worms, everything, groundhogs. So we have to think. That's all I'm saying. And hopefully people will pay attention to what I'm saying and take out the feelings. I go by facts, not feelings. Take out your feelings and think. It'll save your life.
Okay. So, Steve, I know you feel that the Democratic Party has led Black people astray. Do you really feel that the Republican Party is a good party for Black people to follow, or is it just that you're a Donald Trump supporter? And then also, if Trump isn't able to run, or if he is convicted, who would be a secondary choice for the Republican Party, like the best choice, the second best choice if you can't have Trump, in your opinion?
Well, first thing, I'm a Republican. I'm a Donald Trump Republican, but I'll tell you this. I know a lot of Black people, it's sad. They Democrat. But I have one simple question to ask. If Democrats love Black people so much, why didn't they free the slaves? Tell me one good thing Democrats have done for Black people. I'll wait. So The Republican Party is a common sense party, and I've been a Democrat my entire life. My mother and father have been Democrats. My grandmother has been Democrat. My aunts, uncles, cousins, they're all Democrats. You know why? Because they think that's what's keeping it real. We're keeping real with the community. But one thing I pride myself on is using my brain. I've been to 17 countries, 43 states, and 6,000 cities. I use my brain. And Democrat is not, they're not it. Because if you just look at the laws Democrats pass, it's really like foolish. And it's for not intelligent people to vote Democrat. But propaganda tells you Democrats are for you. They're the way. I mean, they like I said, the road to hell is paved with ill intentions. You must think. And I vote for the party who are going to benefit me. Business-minded thinking people to vote Republican. Because Republicans are for keeping the businesses going and thriving. Democrats are for McDonald's workers, keeping people minimum wage. And I give you a prime example. Democrats, look at every Democrat state, every Democrat city, they're all in disarray. Los Angeles, New York, Cleveland, Chicago, Detroit, San Francisco, every Democrat city, shambles. You can smoke crack on the street in Los Angeles and the police won't bother you. You can use heroin. I mean, there's children who walk up and down the street with their heroin needles on the street too. Good old Democrats, but they're nice with you. So
So what about Republican cities?
Republican cities, Republicans are business people. So they're not going to pay a McDonald's worker $20 an hour. It makes no sense to pay, because if you pay McDonald's workers $20 an hour, how can you continue to run a business? How can the company make money to sustain a business? Just think about it. Just Republicans are about business. That's why you can't go and rob stores or steal stuff. You can steal in Los Angeles and they won't detest you. They won't bother you. But so there's a lot of crime, but no punishment. Republican states, cities, can't play those games because you will pay.
Steve, you were a little hard on the black race and on black people. You're saying us being Democratic is kind of foolish. Man, what do you say to some of your critics, which may say, man, this guy is offensive. He being hard on his own people.
Well, first of all, this is what I'd like to say. First of all, about being hard on my own people, but we have to wake up and think, because what I'm saying, and I'm black, so I can't be hard on myself, but I'm saying everybody else is thinking. Because think about this. We're cheering for the party who has never benefited black people. Now, let me ask you, I said that we have bird brains. They forget quick. We don't want to have bird brains, because that's why we're the least respected people in this country. We're the only race of people who come here against their will. But everybody else is ahead of us because they're thinking, they're using their resources and their brains. Whatever little brains they have, they're using them. We need to do the same thing. I'll tell you a last thing before I go. I love black people, but we must. Now, Dave, I ask you, how would you feel if you're drunk, sleep at your house, and your winter coat that you're wearing is on fire, and I don't say anything about it? Would you be okay with that?
No, I feel like, you're not looking out for my best interest because you're letting me sit there and burn up.
You're absolutely right. The point I'm making is our winter coats are on fire. And it's somebody like me who needs to say something, because I see the fire. Okay, I'll give you a prime example. Do you know why they made civil rights?
Why?
The Democrats, they made civil rights. They made civil rights because when we came to this country, we had no rights. The reason being we had no rights is because we were property. We're not even human beings. So for political powers, because the more people you have that live in a city and state, you get more money from the government. So they gave us civil rights, which means we can have a okay structure for as same as white people that is at the same value, or at least the same value. We can have that same structure. That way, the more rights that the people have, the more money from the government they'll get, the more people are in a place. But you know what's so funny about that? Now when they are mentioning civil rights, they're not talking about black people. They're talking about homosexuals. Now, you can say what you want to say, but hey,
Steve,
I'm all for black interests.
You made a point earlier off camera where you were saying, when black people were first brought to the United States, we were not considered a person. We were considered property. And that's very true. And then you made a point about Black people were then upgraded to be considered 3/5 of a person. And you had an interesting take on why you believe the powers at the time upgraded us to being 3/5 of a person. And I think you said that was the Democratic Party back then. Can you explain that point to the people?
Well, the reason why they made us 3/5 of a human being, that's why we do the census. The census tells you how many people live in a place, because the more people that live in an area or a city, state, the more money the government gives to those places for check disbursements. That's why they made us 3/5 of a human being instead of just property, because you don't get any money from the government by having property. Has the government ever sent you a check for having a suitcase or a TV or a table? No. They give you money for now, if you have kids, the government gives you money for the income tax refunds. If you have kids, you claim kids as dependents. So the more money you get from the government is the more people that live there. That's why they made us 3/5 of a human being. Money.
You know, one other
It's
thing too is when you mentioned the census, I thought of the electoral college. The more people you have in a population, the more electoral votes you get. So you may have a point there. Steve.
Yeah, but and Dave, one thing I love, even in my comedy, I always go by facts, not feelings. I have no feelings. I go by facts because you're able to think clear and you can see why things are happening. You can really. That's why I encourage people to open up their brains and start to think. It's not illegal yet.
But that's true. It's not illegal yet. Thinking is not illegal.
Yeah, hey, you're right about that. But I will tell you this: we have to really think and stop thinking about racism. There's too many mixed kids in America for people to still try to use racism as an excuse. If somebody wants to do something, they'll make a way. If they don't, they'll make an excuse. When I was growing up, you couldn't. I never knew anyone who had a white girlfriend and things like that. So it's just people should stop using these excuses. I'm the first generation born with all rights as an American citizen. Because when my father was born, he was going through the 60s and the 50s and 60s. My mother went through the 60s and stuff like that. So how long can we use that excuse? But the point I'm making to you is this: we have to do what we want to do that way, because at the end of your life, do you want to be known as an excuse maker or as a winner? And whatever seeds you plant is what you'll grow. You cannot plant corn seeds but grow watermelon. So we need to plant the winning seeds, and that's the fruit we're gonna grow. I'm all for it.
So, Steve, I want to respond to something that you said. What I'm hearing from you is that you don't like lazy people. You don't like quitters. You want people that are going to work hard, pull up their bootstraps, and go for it. And I agree with that. But I will say this. I do still believe that racism exists in America. And I do still believe that Black people have been disenfranchised by the system. Could we do more for ourselves? Yeah, I believe so. Could we be smarter? Sure. But I do think that the system is against us. And I personally am not sure that the Republican Party is the best party for us, because I don't feel like they work for our interests. I feel like they work for the rich and the wealthy's interests. That's my personal take.
Dave, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Now, what would you think of me if I say I'm not a thief or I'm not a drug addict, but all of my friends are drug addicts? We're always at the crack house. We're always around the dope man. What would you think about me?
I might wonder if you were a drug addict, if you're always around drug addicts.
You know why? Because birds of a feather flock together. A pigeon is a bird and an eagle is a bird, but a pigeon will never hang with an eagle. They have nothing in common. So the point I'm making, you say that Republicans are always for the wealthy. Well, guess what? If you want to be wealthy, you better come on a Republican train, because they have a wealthy person's mind, and that's the mind I'm going to. All the Democrats want you broke, dumb, and dependent. Because when people are on welfare, they get money for that. When people have no money, they're like a poor man's savior. We're going to do it the strong way, not the wrong way. I'm Republican, especially if they have common sense.
Okay, so then my question would be, what about a lot of the racist tropes and racism that Republicans tend to allow in their tenure, such as Donald Trump? How did you feel about the racism and all of the racist things that went on that came directly from his office, or the general state of the union in terms of allowing racism to flourish under Trump?
I'll tell you this. That's another propaganda BS. I'm from the most segregated city in America. I never knew black people and white people could be friends until I started traveling. So we have a thing called May Day. That's on May 1st when black people fight white people. Nobody go to jail that day. So when people there's too many mixed kids in America for people to continue to say racism. It's BS. Racism, that's an excuse for people being losers because they want to be losers. If somebody wants to do something, they'll make a way. If they don't, they'll make an excuse. I'm sick and tired. Nat Turner is my great-grandfather's great-grandfather. I'll tell you another thing. I'm the first generation in my family born with all rights as an American citizen. There's no, people do what they want to do. The rappers are getting rich. No, the white man's not stopping them. Denzel Washington is making his money. The white man's not stopping them. Athletes are making their money. Mike Tyson's retired boxer coming back making his money. Why is racism only affecting losers? If you want to do something, you're going to make a way. If you don't, you'll make an excuse. And if we want to thrive, more people now are talking about racism than they were in the 60s when we really had stuff to fight for. It's a sham. And winners don't make excuses. A winner will never quit and a quitter will never win. That's a fact.
Steve Turner. Steve, I appreciate you for joining the show, man. Thank you for your insight and your opinion on Trump. Is there anything else you want to leave us with before we sign off?
Nothing I want to leave you with. What's her name? Kamala Harris, the vice president. When she was running for presidency, you know what she said? Joe Biden is a racist. He's a racist and this and this. When Joe Biden picked her to be the vice president, he said it all changed. Oh, he's so nice, and I was just talking politics with him. And you know what? Black people have bird brains. You know what they call? You know what a bird brain is? A lot of people who don't understand what words and definitions mean, they'll think a bird brain is somebody stupid because they don't know. That's not a bird brain. Birds are very intelligent animals. But the only thing is, birds forget quick. If I put 10 birds on a fence and put bird seeds out there, and I take a shotgun and I shoot one of them birds, they're all gonna fly away. Within 2 minutes, 3 minutes later, they're gonna come right back to that same fence to get those bird seeds because they forgot what just happened. That's what a bird brain is. And we must think before it becomes illegal, or we will be doomed. Just think. This is Donald Trump. Like I said, he signed a $570 trillion federal mandate because they revitalize black neighborhoods. That's a fact. Democrats went against that. Now, my godfather was in a famous movie. He's a famous actor. He was invited to the White House by the Obama. When he got there, they were really disrespectful to him because he's an African American. Okay, he was invited also by Donald Trump, treated with a lot of dignity. So it's a great sham. It's a great sham. Racism. People love to say that word, but winners don't make excuses, and excuse makers don't win. That's a fact. You gotta ask yourself, which one do you want to be, people? I like to win.
Okay. I definitely have heard that before. And let me leave you with this one question. Do you still think that Donald Trump is the best, not only Republican candidate, but the best candidate for president in 2024?
Going by politics, yes, I do think Donald Trump is the best presidential candidate in 2024 because Donald Trump is a businessman and America is a business. Now, they have said Donald Trump did these things, but remember who this girl is. This woman is a porn actress. She's not a porn star. She is a porn actress, which means she gets money for sex. Donald Trump basically gave her hush money and Donald Trump has money. It's a sham. It's a great picture that they're painting to make him look like something he's not. But the reason they hate Donald Trump is because he's not one of those kind of people. And that's all I'm going to say. God bless you all. Let's think before it becomes illegal.
All right. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you for joining. Thank you for your opinion. Thank you for just everything that you've done in the world of comedy. And I appreciate you for joining Dave Life TV News. Appreciate you, Steve.
Thank you for having me.
All right, you guys. So that was comedian Steve Turner. We appreciate him for joining the show. What do you think? Do you think that Trump is still a good candidate for the Republican Party? Is he a good candidate in general? Will he beat Joe Biden? Let us know. We're going to continue to cover the Trump story here on Dave Life TV News. So make sure you follow the hashtag DLTV News and make sure you follow and subscribe to Dave Life TV on YouTube and all platforms. We appreciate you. We'll see you on the next episode of DLTV News. Peace.